the mighty Manawatu we head. Now, there we find Peter Newbold, GM for PGG Wrightson Rural Real Estate. Peter, fantastic to bump into you in the Christchurch airport on my way home for duck shooting the other weekend. You certainly get around the country a wee bit. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Rowena. Yeah, look, it's you have to get out and about, see what's going on, and meet the people. So, yeah, I'm up in the Manawatu today. Nice day up here. So you'd still think we're in sort of the depths of autumn. So, it's good. Good, nice weather, and can't complain.
Yeah, well, that weather, I reckon, has come through from Wanganui because that is the better region right next door. Hey, look, as you mentioned, and we were talking to Chris Brandolino earlier in the hour, we have had an incredible autumn, unfortunately a bit dry in some parts of the country. But how have rural property sales gone through autumn?
Yeah, look, it's probably been one of our best autumns ever. And I think there's a couple of interesting pieces there. One, we've had a high clearance rate, which is one thing, and the values have been higher than previous years. And I think you can put that down to a couple of things. One, we've had really good weather. People feel better, sentiment's different, and then rural New Zealand, as we know, is in a good space. And all those farmers are, in most cases, are earning good money. So that's good. And then you've also got tied in a little bit around the sheep and beef, that sort of crazy price situation, which is also sort of stimulating things. But to be honest, it'd be, I'd have to say the best year for rural sales in maybe, 10 years.
Wow, that's a big statement. Peter, how have the larger properties been selling, those bigger sheep and beef stations almost?
Yeah, look, it's been good. There's been a gradual increase in those properties getting away. But I think, people need to realise, once you get up over 10 or 15 million, the buyer pool is really small.
Yeah.
But yes, we're seeing that sort of gradual increase in that. So to me, if you go back on past trends, that would say, we're going to continue strongly into the next year. I think the interesting thing that's taken place in the last probably month is we've seen a couple of large properties sold to new entrants. So, people that traditionally, they don't come from rural New Zealand and don't have the experience in there. Mm-hmm. So that's been interesting. They've come from the city. And I think that's a good thing, actually. And, of course, I've been in a position to be able to help them out well in that space. But definitely there's a trend there, but I think the challenge is the values, and you get down to a really small buyer pool.
Yeah, absolutely. What are we looking at heading towards spring listings?
We think it is going to be strong. Again, when it starts will be subject to weather. And I think the other thing that's taken place is, a lot of farmers out there have sort of been banking returns, as I say. And you've still got a large group that are coming up that are wanting to retire or, put in succession plans and the like. So I think we'll see a number of those come to the market in the spring. So I think we'll see a good level of listings. And I think, no one really knows, but you'd have to, if you put a stake in the ground now, I think it'll be, continue on like we've seen in this current year.
We'll keep crystal ball gazing for a moment, Peter. Dairy sales, what are you predicting for the new season for these?
We think there'll be more sales, and it probably goes back to that previous point. A lot of them have banked a lot and they're in a really good financial position at the moment. So I think we'll see more come to the market and better properties come to the market. I'm not saying good ones haven't been in the marketplace, but I think we'll see that. Probably one of the challenges there is as you get up in value again, you talk some of these properties are worth tens of millions. So again, that's just something need to be mindful. And I think the vendors also, when they come to the market, need to realise that, it is rarefied air and they just need to be mindful that there needs to be something in it for both sides. So that'd be my only comment in that space. But I think we're going to see more activity in the dairy in this coming season.
Is forestry still having much of an impact, Peter?
Yes, it is. Great for the vendors. I think it's probably had too much of an impact.
Yep.
And, it won't be until we look out over, the next half a dozen or 10 years, and we'll probably see where it's just gone too far. What we're starting to look at more now is, when you look at a property, well, what realistically should you put into forestry, and what should you leave, in traditional pastoral farming? So I think we need to head down, more down that path, and be very selective of what we put into trees. But that's just my opinion. But
I share it.
Having an influence on the values. But I think even if that side slows up, I still think we'll see sheep and beef continue along in a positive manner.
Just finally, Peter, we hear a lot of talk out there about declining property values and how we're coming down the other side. Is that having an impact on people's thought processes?
Yeah, it is. It's interesting. There seems to be a lot of commentators out there that seem to know a lot about property, which I sometimes go, really? Look, no one really knows. I mean, a lot of people are making statements, but a lot of them I think are very negative when they don't really know. And, if you go back when we came out of COVID, everyone said it was going to be doom and gloom, and it was the opposite. So I think people just need to be a little bit cautious because it affects a lot of people when you make sort of rash statements. So, I just think we just need to be cautious in that space. But, look, even if there is some small drops, we've had such big increases over the last, 24 months. I don't see that as a big issue, personally.
Well, that is a good note to finish on. Peter Newbold, GM for PGG Wrightson Rural Real Estate. Appreciate your time. Enjoy being up in the Manawatu and, rug up warm when you head home to Central Otago before that snow arrives.
Yeah, thanks, Rowena, and have a good afternoon.